Hello, Pisces. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, using the Star Tarot by Kathy McLeland. Apparently, I'm addicted to this deck. KathyMcLeland.com is the website for them. And I'm using another deck that I really like for the supporting Oracle cards, Magical Spell Cards by Lucy Cavendish, illustrated by Jesse Reish. There's a website in the back of the book here, hayhouse.com. Just noticed it. I don't know if I've ever shown it before, but hayhouse.com if you're looking for it. This is an older deck. I don't remember how old, but it's an older deck, at least a decade, maybe almost two, just to be fair. Pisces. Okay. Okay. I don't think there's anything... Yeah, there's a lot of good coming for you. There's a lot of good. Pisces. I'm a Pisces too, so just in case this sounds wonky, you're pulling in something. Something is coming into your life. It's definitely coming in very strong too. When you're watching this, I think whatever it is showing up anytime from now to the end of whatever month you're watching this in. Because something really good is coming. Other people might have quite the issue with it. Because I'm seeing something coming in very, very strong. Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords. A lot is coming into you. Other people, I feel like, are having a hard time with this. But you are not. There might, like, you're not expecting it, by the way. If this is going to hit, and you're looking at this now like, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's coming. Something really strong, boom, is showing up in your life. You want this. I feel like whatever it is you want. I have to be honest, when it comes to my life, I'm like, if other people don't like it, I have to step back and kind of think of like, well, exactly why don't they like it? Sometimes that's a good reason, sometimes it's not. And you have to kind of step back out of the situation and kind of like, if this was happening to them, would they still be upset? If this was happening to somebody else, would you be upset for them? Like, if you have to take yourself out of the situation and play it out for somebody else. Like, instead of this happening to me, if this is happening to my best friend, or if this is happening to somebody I care about, is this really good, or is this just something they want to believe is good? I just have one of these weird situations where I experience both. I experience sometimes people, they don't like what's going on in my life, but then they'll explain why, and sometimes I'm like, all right, that doesn't look right, you're right. Or other times I'll be like, okay, you don't like that, but wait a minute, I'm really enjoy this, I don't see the problem. Like certain people didn't like that I'm a reader, and some people don't like that, and I have to step back and go, why don't you like that? And I have to realize, I don't think that's bad. I'm not gonna stop doing it because somebody else doesn't like it. So it's kind of like one of those things. Like, all right, they don't like it, but then you have to drill down. Like, why don't they like it? And is it like, okay, the reason they don't like it, I'm at peace with that. I'm not expecting them to like it. Or, oh, okay, if this was reversed, I wouldn't have a problem with them doing that. Like, if I have somebody else in my life being a card reader, I wouldn't think that was a bad thing. Actually, I do know a bunch of card readers. Oddly enough, can you imagine? What do we got going on here? Because I feel like you have to stand your ground and just step back and just think it out rationally. In fact, if you write it down on a piece of paper, I feel like if you really want to make sure that whatever's coming toward you is good, because I feel like you're conflicted. You're like, is it really good? I want this. I want to move forward, but you got this conflict with the devil card behind it. Like, is it people being jealous, or is it people really being concerned, like they don't think this is a good thing? And I feel like the easiest way to do this is at the end of the night, write down what's happening and how you're seeing it at that moment. And then in the morning, look at it, see if you still feel the same way. The next night, do the same thing. Like, has anything new happened? Do you still feel the same way? What are people telling you? Do you believe that's true? Do you believe it's not true? After a week or so, because you step back from it, and especially Pisces usually do well with dreams. Even if you're not remembering your dreams, When we wake up in the morning, sometimes we have more clarity of thought about what we're dealing with. By the end of a week, you should be at peace with what you need to do next. Because whatever it is definitely taking some action on your part. Be aware of desperation. Whatever it is should not be like pass or fail. Like, it's kind of like, listen, you got to get on the train today. If you don't get on the train today, we're leaving without you. You can't have all this money. That's maybe not the best. Whatever this is, if it's really good for you, you should have the luxury to stand back or sit back for a minute and just really soak it in and feel like, what is this going on? It shouldn't be like a pass-fail, we have to make a decision right now. Even if it's a new job coming in, you should have at least 2 to 3 days to think about if you're going to do this or if you're not going to do this. Or, for example, if somebody's offering you a job, ask them, is it okay if I take a week to think about this, and as long as I give you my answer by the end of the week? And they'll tell you. And you're like, okay, let me think about it for a week. Usually jobs that are good jobs will be willing to hold back. If they're not, that might be a huge red flag. Just be aware of that, especially if this is a job situation and they're like, oh, the best we can give you is 3 days. If you're okay and you're like, okay, I can talk this out and think this out within 3 days, but I at least need 3 days to think it out. If you're okay with that, fine. I would say usually a week. Usually jobs will be, if they're on the level, they're kind of like, all right, you need a week to think about it, yes or no. As long as you're like, by a week, I will have an answer for you, yes or no. I can tell you yes or no. Is that okay? Can we do that? I feel like whatever it is, it's really good though. But it's kind of like there's energy around this that's making you doubt yourself. It's really good. It's something really good for you. It seems to be affecting your life. Like, for example, if it's another job, it's almost like, say you have a day shift now, but the job you're going into, it's something you really want to do, something you really like, it maybe even pays more, but the hours or the distance is taking you away from whatever. Like, it's changing your life schedule. So say you get up at 5:30, you get on the road about 6:15, you're at work at 7, you get home like 6:30 or so at night every day, and this is your life. But this job is going to be like, well, I don't have to be there until 8, but, I'm going to have to be there. It's going to be a different schedule. I'm going to have an hour lunch, and then I have some things I have to do after, so I might not get home till 9 o'clock for whatever reason. It's farther away, or there's things I have to do. There's changes here. There's changes to your life, changes to your life schedule. It may seem minimal, but that literally can make, even though it's like an hour or two difference, it can make a huge difference in your life, and it might bother other people, especially if you're going from like a day shift to a night shift. Sometimes that throws people off, other people in your life off. It doesn't have to be a job thing, by the way. Whatever it is, it seems to be changing the structure of your life. That's the point. Why are people so upset? Because they have to let you go. They don't have control over you. You're changing the 7 of Pentacles reversed, and what is this other one? 8 of... Okay. The Trap card reversed. You're doing your own thing, and people don't feel like they have the connection. I want to say connection. It could be control, just to be fair. Whatever you're doing, it's changing things so that you have to reschedule your life the way you want it, and they're not going to have the same connection to you. When I get that 8 of Swords reversed, it's kind of like they have to let you set the schedule, and you'll let them know where you can fit them in. And they don't like that. So they don't have the same connection. I'm struggling. I want to kind of say the word control, but I really don't. So I don't know if these people would... I don't know. For some of you, it might be a control thing. Others, it might not. This is going to destroy that. Like, they're not going to have any control over your life or what you do. And for some of them, they may actually fade out of your life because of it. The 3 of Swords happens for other people, not for you, by the way. That's heartbreak, but you are not experiencing heartbreak. Because it's kind of like, if these are connections you want to keep, you know how to work with that and cultivate them and keep them. So I don't see you going through this heartache, kind of like, oh, we can still hang out every now and then. I'll just, work it in, and I'll keep seeing you here and there. It won't be the same as before, but it'll still be good. Like, nobody's passing away here. You have good cards. You have the 2 of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and you have the Imagination. There's a lot coming in. You're very excited. The trick is with the imagination, especially with Pisces, and I'm saying this as a Pisces, you can't let things stay in imagination. If you see something you like and something you're like, oh, that could be really good, don't let it stay just in your head. Make sure it goes into reality. And there's a lot here that can come into reality, but this has to go into the level of reality. You have to stabilize this. Don't let things just stay in the dream world. Bring them into reality for you. They can start in the dream world as long as you transition them into reality, if that makes sense. This situation is going to take that on your side. There's going to be work involved and connection involved, but this is your moment to take something you really want, start it, and then make it what you want it to be. So for some of you, you saw the Two of Cups and the Knight of Cups. It's definitely a relationship thing. I'll give you that. But this is a relationship where you have to cultivate it and work at it right in the beginning. You make sure things are balanced. Make sure you're not doing everything. Or for some of you, make sure you're not letting somebody else do everything for you. We can't have either. It's got to be a balance right at day one. So you know what I mean? If you're the one who like is always taking care of everybody, and I'll make this and I'll do that and I'll clean this up and I'll go pick this one up and I'll go get that for you, and half and half right in the beginning. Also, I feel like Pisces falls into this trap too, especially if you come into like certain energies. I won't say signs, but I'm thinking of one in particular where they just naturally go and get things done. They just do it. They just do and do and do. And they're like, do you need that? I already got it. Here you go. You want that? Here, I already got one. Here you go. Make sure that they don't do too much for you. Make sure they allow you to do for them too. And you need that. You need that balance right in the beginning. So that might be the biggest challenge for you, is to make sure the other person or whatever the situation is lets you contribute as much as you're contributed to. You don't want to do everything, but you don't want to have everything given to you either. Both are going to be like, it's going to put a shelf life on the situation. This is not good. The situation won't last. That's the thing. You're going to like this. If you want it to last, you got to have that balance. If that gets out of balance, it's going to have a shelf life, and at some point it's going to crash. Just fair notice. There may be a change of social structure around you due to this whole, this may actually create a whole social structure to you, to your life, I should say. It's not bad for you. That's the thing. Other people may be very upset, and some people it's time to go through the transition. It doesn't have to mean anything's bad or good. I think this is hard for some people. Sometimes people transition in and out of your life, and it's not bad nor good. It's just time to. Sometimes people go into a more dormant place, like you still see them, but for example, if you worked with somebody and you used to see them pretty much almost every day or every work day at least, and then you transition into a new job or situation, and maybe you see them once every 2 months. You can still see them. You can still have that connection. You can have good times. Every 2 months you can get together and have a weekend together, whatever. But they don't have to fall away. They don't like it. I'm getting they don't like it, but if they want to keep that connection with you, I feel like you'll put that effort in. You don't seem upset, I think, because you're like, nobody's passing away. We can still do things. It's just going to change how much we do things together. You seem fine. Other people might be quite upset about this. But sometimes it's just life goes into these things where it's time to transition. It's like a kid going off to college. You don't want to stunt their growth saying you can't go to college because I'm going to miss you too much. You help them do that. You try to keep in connection with them. You don't hear from them as much. You don't see them as much, but the connection is still there, and it's better for them. You just got to accept that this is taking its transition forward. It's hard sometimes, but it's for the best. You got a lot of abundance coming in. You just got to work through not letting other people's guilt hold you down, because there might be some guilt trips coming in here. Kind of like, I'm not going to see you as much, Pisces, or we're not going to have this isn't going to be as good for me, Pisces, or just keep that under control. Don't feel guilty about things. Go for what you want. Realize nothing has to end here. Some people might get very upset and they might walk away from you because they can't have this on their terms. If that happens, that might be for the best. Again, I'm not seeing you completely upset about that, because you're going to leave the door open. They can come around when they want. If they shut the door on you, that's their problem. I still don't see you getting upset about it, because you're going to be very busy with other things. If they feel that way and they're like that demanding and that controlling, well, that's their business, and they're going to have to deal with that on their own. Are we good? All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, it's below. Same email. Thanks for watching and have a great day.